Good evening everyone and welcome to a 5v5v5v5 event here in Suzuka Japanese Grand Prix. Contending today's race are NLR, IRT, CPI and a mixed team, which normally does not operate as an esports team, but for today has formed a lineup which they've called themselves, and I apologize for my pronunciation on this, as it's a Finnish word. Team Tuulitunneli? Team Tuulitunneli? Something like that. I hope I got that pronunciation somewhat correct. I've been told it means wind tunnel in Finnish, which is an interesting name for a team, I have to say. Yeah, we are using the multiplayer cars for today's race, of course, with the recent findings regarding tire wear on equal cars in the Formula 1 games. Not actually being equal across teams, which that was a little bit embarrassing, if I'm honest, for Codemasters. So yeah, we have been forced to go back to these multiplayer cars now. I think most teams have not actually been able to get a livery together on this short notice, so yeah, I'm gonna have to fill in the gaps on that front and keep on top of which driver is part of which team. Also not, I think Lewis is the first one to start a lap. It's also gonna be a bit more difficult now to keep track of who is where on track, as the track map will not really be of much help in that regard. As of course I can't see the team colors, since I mean the team. I mean, most of these liveries seem to be like the same. There's one yellow, but the rest are all like some kind of a dark green, a dark blue, a black, somewhere in that area. They're all very dark. The only one that sticks out is the yellow car coming out in the final corner now, which I think is Nick, as Lewis goes off in the first sector. And that's the first hot lap of this session done already. Well, ruined already, I should say, and there's a car flying past him. I'm not sure who that is. Is that Resify? Yes, it is. So we'll stay on board with Resify for the rest of this lap. See what he is able to put in today's race. Of course, purple in the first sector, as he is, of course, the first one to actually complete the first sector. We'll see if this can be a competitive lap time for the NLR man, wanting to secure a good result for his team today. I'm not sure who's following closest. Yeah, that's of course the yeah, multiplayer cars never really a nice thing for the commentator. Makes it a lot more difficult to know which driver you need to switch on to, especially in qualifying. But in the race as well, it's yeah, I'm not a massive fan of them, if I'm honest. But I suppose it's the lesser of the two, having this issue and having unequal tire wear, based on like, not based on driving factors. Now DS open for Resify onto the line 26.8, and we'll see if definitely, I think it's a very good lap time actually. We'll see I guess one others complete lap times as well. Nick is currently going to, oh well, no, he's invalid. Jano is close to the final corner, so we'll start with him. Mick with a 28.6, so he is very far off from Resify. Close to 2 seconds separating those two right now. We'll see how close Jano gets, or if he manages to beat Resify even. DRS will be open now, and over the line will be a 27.8, 27.2 from Tony, to a 46.1 from Indigo, so that was certainly some kind of massive mistake on that lap. But yeah, at the moment, Resify looking very strong here. The only one anywhere near him is Tony, who was 4 tenths back, and he himself has 4 tenths to go, man. We've got Renz in P5, another 28.2. I'm just gonna go cycle through. And then we have, oh! 26.862, very close in the top there now between Mikelan and Resify. Answer to starting a lap. Latus about to start, about to finish one actually, as he goes into the final corner. I have to admit, it's gonna be a bit difficult to keep track of who is in which team now. Of course, I know for sure the NLR guys, but because some drivers do not have don't have a team tag at all, or don't have the correct team tag, and then they also aren't in any kind of recognizable car. So I'll do my best to keep track of that, but if I do end up not knowing or misremembering which driver is part of which team, I do apologize for that, as Shabby now invalidates his lap time through Spoon Curve. We'll go more with IRT marks, actually on a medium, interestingly, so he's going for a different strategy here. But he's currently not using ERS, so he's not pushing. Instead we'll go on board with Ansar then, who is, oh well, also just abandoned this lap. We'll try Andreas, maybe that he's no, he's also on 100% ERS, so he's also not pushing. I think right now, there does not seem to be anybody wanting to improve their lap time or currently on a push lap. So yeah, Resify, Michelin, Afte as well, 27.1, very respectable lap time. Followed by Tony and then Indigo. But yeah, unusually big field spread here. Not something you usually see in these kinds of events. Normally the field's a lot closer, but at the moment it looks to be like about... I think Lattis and Andreas certainly have made massive mistakes on their lap, but Charlie is probably the first one where I would say that could be, doesn't have to be, could also be a big mistake on the lap somewhere, could be a representative lap time. And he is a full 2 seconds slower than Resify at the moment. Alright, let me get the stream chat up, see if anybody is saying anything. Sound cutting out. Oh, I'm not sure if I can do anything about that right now. I hope it just fixed itself or something. Because I can't really... Working now? Okay, good. Thank you, Harley. Yeah, Andreas at the moment, I think he is he currently pushing? Well, the delta isn't showing, but yes, he is up by 6 seconds, so big improvement from 6 seconds. That would actually put him in the 28s right now, I think. So he's gonna have to try to find a bit more time in the final sector here to get a good lap time in. I don't think he'd be happy with the 28, so Diaz open to the line. And I think he actually ran out of fuel at the end. Indeed he did, yeah. Andreas, I mean, he's still beaten Mick and Charlie. So, not a good look for those guys, I would say. Unless, of course, they also made some kind of mistake on the lap. I assume they did. I don't think they... Yeah, I assume these lower lap times, even if I did say earlier, it might be a representative time. I think all of those guys can go a lot faster. We're now on board with NLR Lewis. We'll see if he is able to complete the lap this time around. He's already gone further than last time. 31.1 the first sector. He is purple apparently, according to the game. I'm not sure what the actual purple first sector is. That was actually purple. Of course, purple in the game does not really work as intended correctly. I'm not really sure. So that's not really a good indication to know whether Lewis is currently on a lap time challenging Resify and Michelin. I guess we'll see once he completes it. Now flying through Spoon Curve here, and he goes a little bit wide! And Lewis is invalidating the lap. I guess we'll never know if this was a actually a pole contending lap. But a lot of people are actually struggling to collapse him at all. I mean, currently only 13 people have completed the lap after... How long has it been now since qualifying started? Like 10 minutes? I'm not sure. There's constant yellow flags because of Andreas having no fuel, so I can't actually tell. We have Tony starting a lap now. We're actually still working with him for this entire lap here. 9 minutes to go. Okay, so we're halfway through qualifying. And, yeah, 7 drivers still have not put in any lap time at all. Is that correct? Yeah, 7. Okay. I didn't miscount. Good. That would be quite embarrassing. Yeah, Tony for the well, newly formed, I guess. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Oh, Tony's off! He's lost it! Just about to enter Dunlop curve, exiting the S section. He's gonna have to be careful not to get disqualified here as he turns the car around. He needs to get back on track quickly without blocking anyone. And now he has one more car coming around. He should be able to get back on track now. Oh, actually, one of his teammates, I think. Not entirely sure. I can't tell who is on which team based on the liveries. Yeah, the decision to use multiplayer cars only happened earlier today, so I do see some teams having some drivers having their team's colors on the car, but not all of them. So it will be a struggle to keep track of, as I said earlier already. We're now on board with NLR currently in P8 on a 27.843. a full second of pole position right now. I mean, Reservoir and Mikeland seeming really, really strong at the moment. We'll see how much Jano's gaining right now. Half a second, massive improvement. Massive improvement from Jano. So the field spread does seem to be closing in now on these second runs. And Jano, one more corner to go now, and what will it be over the line? Has he put in a good final sector as well? Yes, he has, 27.269. Alright, nobody's really improving out of the top 5 right now. Penna's down a full second. Toika's out of ERS. Gurnman is about to complete an improvement lap. And he jumps to P4, 27.213. Very respectable lap time there as well. A lot of drivers in the 27.2 from P4 all the way to P8 within the 27.2s. So very, very close grid in that sense. But then there's a massive gap after Toika to Ren. So yeah, Toika 27.4, Ren's 28.1. We also have Ansa now on his first lap at the moment, of course. In P19 as he's not set a lap time. Same goes for Jinx, Lewis and Shabi. But they are all currently on track. Where's Jinx on track right now? He's just starting the lap, he's just going through turn 1. We'll go back on board to Ansa though. He is close to finishing a lap. I want to see if he where he can end up after his first lap here. Say 10.7 in the middle sector. Or 110.7 I should say. And now into the final corner. Takes a lot of curb on the first part and the second part as well. And now to the line. Dia is open. And it's a 27.479 P9 for Ansa. Lewis and Trasami now also starting their laps. Oh, as Nick has lost it through Degner 2. And that means that he's going to be stuck on that 58.3 for a while longer. Hopefully he can get one more lap in. We have about 5 minutes left in this session. After is currently improving, I think. Yes, up by 2 tenths, so good improvement here. This could put him within contention of the top 2 at the moment. Oh, he's lost it to the final. Oh, he hasn't. That was actually very good. No, now he's invalidated. He locked the rears coming into the chicane, but it actually kind of helped him with the way he managed to slide the car into the corner. But then, unfortunately, he... well, I'm not sure. The car over-rotated then going into the second part of the chicane, which led to an invalidation and his lap being ruined. Indy going to pits as well. Jinx jumping up into P11, 27.712. We are currently on board with Charlie, who, what is his delta? 7 tenths down, okay, not improving. What about Andreas? Can we see his delta? Nope, the game is refusing to show it to me, but he is still pushing, so I would assume that Andreas is on his way to an improvement here. What about Lewis? Lewis is coming out to the line now, he's on a 26.654, puts in a new fastest lap time. And Trasami now at 27.431 to P10. Yeah, Lewis putting 2 tenths on Reservoir. So now that he's finally got a clean lap in, it's a very good lap. Meanwhile, Andreas down by 1.5 tenths. Charlie's in the gravel. So yeah, at the moment, Andreas, the only one on the push lap, is there with him up onto the line. He's down by 2 tenths. Not sure if he'll even continue this lap or if he is going to end up going back to the pits now. Everybody else currently on their way back to the pits or in the pit lane. 4 minutes to go, so people should be coming out soon. Andreas indeed is going to abandon this lap and go back to the pit lane. No point if you aren't improving to actually go across the line. So yeah, now we wait for people to drive out for the final time in this session. A few people I think are now on their way out. Yeah, Toika being the first one. Lewis still, is he pushing or is he just doing a fast in-lap so you can get one more lap in? I mean, he does seem to be going quite fast, but the ERS is not moving on the straight, so yeah, he is not pushing, he's on his way back to the pit lane as well. Yeah, Indigo and Toika already out on track. Those will be the first ones to put in their final run in the session, 3 minutes to go, so this will definitely be their final go in qualifying today. Toika currently in P12 at 27.487. And a very minor improvement. Could put him into the top 10 here. He's about half a tenth behind Shabi in P10. So Toika only needs a little bit of a... only needs to find a small amount of time here to improve his position. I'm also not sure what the weather could be for the race. We could be seeing some rain. I think Japan is one of the more likely tracks to have rain at. Toyka now going into the final corner to start his lap here. And we'll see what he's able to do. 27.487 to beat. Let's see if he can do it. How many places he can gain. So, down to the first corner. Stays flat until the has a brake for turn 2. Goes nice and wide upward to the curb. Staying flat into the first part of the S section. Now has to go down to 5th gear to get the car rotated in. Down to 4th gear here even. Let's see, can he stay flat through here? Yes, he can. No, he can't actually. He has to put a bit of a lift in. But then, looking at how far on the inside he was, he probably could have stayed flat. He's up by 1/10 and now destroys the braking board on the entry of Degner 1. That could be annoying for some people. But I'm sure that wasn't on purpose. It seemed like an accidental maneuver. And now into the hairpin. Stays in 3rd gear all the way through. Gets the car rotated very nicely. And now back onto the power. Flying past some of the cars on their outlaps here. Looked like a decent lap so far. He was up by a 10th in the first sector. Let's see how much he ended up gaining in the second sector. It didn't look as good as the first. I think there has been a few minor mistakes in there, which might have cost him some time. He's coming up to one of the other cars in the outlap, a green car, I think, a dark green car. Up by 3.5 tenths there, actually. So a good improvement from Toyka. Yeah, that could put him all the way into P4 if he can bring this over the line. Just one more corner to go now. Can he get it done? Onto the power. DRS will be open now. A bit of a slide in the exit and over the line. 27.355. He's lost a bit of time in the final sector and only improves into P10. Meanwhile, Vesify is starting his final lap of the session, currently in P2. Michelin starting his final lap as well now, after on his final lap. So all of the front runners are pushing. Lewis on an outlap, so he'll have one more go as well. Gernman on a run as well. After it's up by a 10 from the first sector. What about Gernman? Tony is well up by 2.5 tenths. Big improvement from Tony. Apparently Gernman up by 4.5, but well, now he's only 1/10. Interesting. After seems to have abandoned this lap, he was going very slowly there. Indigo improves to P4, 27.046. Redify up by 1.5 tenths. Lewis now over the line as well, starting his final lap with 10 seconds to go. Michelin gaining 20 thousandths in the first sector. I think Gernman will be the next one to go over the line. No, Tony actually will be the next one over the line, but he's only gaining by 0.5 tenth. So this will probably not be enough to challenge the likes of Michelin, Resify and Lewis, but he might be able to beat Afte and Gernman. Over the line now, DS open 26.976. Okay, actually all the way into P4. Gains a lot of time in the final sector there. Gernman from the final corner as well now. Let's see how much he's going to gain. Or if he's going to gain it all. DS open to the lines at 27.039 into P5. Michelin not improving right now. Resify back into the pits. Michelin down by 5 thousandths after the second sector, but can he find some more time in the final sector? Can he beat Resify? Can he maybe even beat Lewis? Over the line, and it's at 26.820, and he does beat Resify, does not beat Lewis. Lewis hasn't banned the lap. Is anybody else still pushing? Jano is up by a 10th. Shabi's up by a 10th. Anybody else? I think a few of the other guys here down here, a lot of the IRT guys, are still pushing at the moment. I think Jano was close to the line though, or was he? No, he wasn't. Shabi is close to the line. He's up by 1.5 tenths after sector 2. And now just a chicane to go. Oh, and there's a car this way! It was a desynced there or something. Shabi didn't seem to be affected by that contact at all. That was very weird. Tia is to the line, 27.207 for Shabi. Jano, the next one I think, up by 1.5 tenths. And now over the line for the NLR man, 27.029 up into P6. And now only Mark still left, but he is not improving. So that's qualifying done in this session. And it's Lewis in P1, followed by Michelin, Resify, Latus, Tony, Jano, Gernman, Indigo. Then after in P10, Shabi, rounding in top 10, followed by Pena. Then Toyka in P12, Ansa in P13, Andreas in 14th, Renz in 15th. And then Jinx, 16th, starting 17th, Mick 18th, Mark in 19th. And then Nick with a 58.3, so no representative left hand from him, down in P20. And there we go, just about got through the entire grid before qualifying actually ended. We'll have the result screen just in just a moment to confirm once again and check if there were any grid penalties, but I don't think there were any. So yeah, Lewis, with only one actual completed legal lap, he was able to get pole position in this session. But a very balanced qualifying, I'd say. There's a lot of different teams here on the at the front. I mean, of course, there is two NLR drivers right in the front, in Lewis and Reservoir, and then Jan on P6 as well. So NLR looking quite good. But we'll see in the race. It's a very long race, 27 laps at Suzuka. A lot can happen to this track. It's a very difficult track to stay consistent at. The S-curves, of course, are a big danger to drivers. The curbs around there, I think, this year are not as bad as they were on previous games. But it's just in general, it's a very difficult track to nail. So I'm sure we will be seeing some mistakes from drivers, which will spice up the order and make it a bit more interesting in that sense. Right, we are on the grid now, waiting for the race start. Drivers are deciding on their strategies. I'm expecting mostly, I think medium hard is the way to go at Japan. I think tire wear is a bit too extreme for medium soft, but we'll see if anybody decides to go for it. Of course, very crucial as well to get a good start here around here, because if you end up getting stuck further down the field, it will be quite difficult to overtake Japan. Not many overtaking opportunities on this track. The Casio Triangle right at the end of the lap is probably the best one, and then the DRS straight into turn 1. Those would be your two most realistic chances of making an overtake happen. And both of those are still quite difficult since you don't have DRS coming into the Casio Triangle, and then also the main straight is quite short, which makes it difficult to actually pull off the overtake even with DRS. Although with how powerful DRS is in this game, that could be helpful in that sense. And here we are now, waiting for the race start. The 5 red lights are on. It's Lewis next to Mikkonen. The 5 red lights are out. And the race has started. Lewis gets away very well. Mikkonen not able to challenge him off the line, I think. Lewis secures P1. Mikkonen has to defend from SFI. All staying put in top 3. Lattis and Tony battling on P4 though, and Tony comes on ahead. Yeah, Lewis has secured P1 through turn 1. Yeah, cars only off. Nick is off in the first corner, I think. We have a few cars going side by side in the background. Shabby and Jano, I think that is. Battling side by side through the first sector here. Oh, and Shabby has lost it, but just about managed to catch the car. Doesn't even lose position. Great reaction from him right there. Andreas and Mick are out the race. And Charlie, 3 cars out of the race, and it's a full core safety car being deployed on the first lap here. Charlie, Mick, and Andreas all off in the gravel there. What on earth has happened? That all 3 of them crash at once. A nightmare for those drivers now, of course. Not even half a lap complete, not even the sector completed for them in this race. And they're already done. I'm not sure what actually happened to them. I'm sure we'll find out at some point what actually happened. We'll see the incident get sent in some kind of recording or something. But yeah, off the line, nothing much changing in the top 3. Tony and Gurman gaining places now. Lattis falling down to P6. Now the safety car as well. Might be seeing some people making pit stops. Yeah, mostly hard compound tires, a few mediums, and then softs on Toyka and Renz. That's very interesting. But yeah, does seem to be mostly hards. Oh, well, maybe 50-50 split of hards and mediums actually. Is anybody gonna go for pit stop? Doesn't seem like it. I think most people are opting to stay out. Maybe someone has wing damage further down the field. But doesn't seem like it, no. Renz is coming in, and so is Toyka. Okay, Renz and Toyka, 2 drivers on soft compound tires, are pitting at the end of lap 1 here. And they're gonna pit onto hards in the case of Toyka, and it'll be... That looks like hards as well for Renz. And a wing change. I'm not sure how long the hards actually last around here, if they can go all the way to the end. I don't think they can. That would be a very, very long stint, and the tire drop-off in this game does seem quite extreme, so I don't think even if they can make it, it would be worth it. But we'll see if they end up opting for that strategy. Also, looking at the sky, it does seem rather a little bit cloudy, I would say, so I wouldn't rule out some rain in this race. At least, I mean, I can't see any amount of sun, so oh, where is the sun? Where is it on track? Can I see it somewhere in the sky? I'm looking around for it, but it doesn't seem to be out, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing some rain later in the race. I'll check if somebody has maybe put the weather report somewhere in the chats, either in the NLR chats or the manager chat. But it does not seem like it, so yeah, we'll just focus on the race and see if anything of that sort ends up happening later in the race. Safety car should be coming in end of next lap, I think. It's too early at the end of lap 2 for it to come in. Always stays out for 2 laps, I think. So yeah, one more lap of safety car running, and then we'll be back on the way. Of course, Lewis gonna hope to keep position. Oh, Mark and Chicks are swapping places. What is going on back here? Oh, Mark is lagging a lot here, I think. And is causing some chaos in the field back here. Seems to have sorted itself now. Okay. So yeah, one more lap of safety car. Nobody pitting this time around. You can also have a quick look at the position change to see who has gained the most of the start. It's actually Mark in P13, and then Nick at P15. So yeah, Mark going from yeah, gaining 6 places in that half a sector we had of racing, and then Nick gaining 5. Who of course Nick actually went off at the first corner, so he's gained 3 places from DNFs and 2 places from people pitting. So he hasn't actually overtaken anyone. Outside of that, I mean, German had a very good start, from P7 to P5. Lattes, though, losing 2 places, dropping down from P4 to P6, not ideal for him. He's gonna hope to rectify that now that safety car's coming in. Same for Jano as well, losing 2 places, from P6 to P8. So yeah, safety car hopefully coming in soon. I hope it's coming in this lap, it should be coming in this lap. I do want to get back to racing here, as I think you can tell I'm running out of things to say here. There's nothing that didn't really happen. We didn't have much happen before the safety car that I could talk about now, so I am just trying to waste time basically until we get some race to talk about again. And also it's interesting seeing that people are indeed burning fuel on the safety car, so they are confident that they have enough fuel in the car. 2.5 laps extra for Tony, so a lot of fuel in the car for these guys here. 3 laps for Lewis, I think that is, so 1.5 for Michelin, 2.5 for Recify. A lot of fuel in these, yeah, a lot of fuel on board in the moment for those guys, so they are thinking that the fuel burn is quite extreme around Japan. Safety car now in this lap. Lewis setting the pace for the final sector and deciding when to go. He's going quite fast at the moment. Staying close to the safety car, so he's gonna have to restart late, I think. He can't really go all that early, or otherwise he will get slowed down by the game. And let's see when Lewis decides to go. He's still slowing down. Now he's going. Lewis with a good restart, I think, as Michelin is not able to attack him here. Although Tony and Latus immediately attack, or Tony and German immediately attacking Recify here, but not able to actually get alongside into turn 1. And the same goes for everybody else down the field. No attacks down to turn 1. Lewis still leading Michelin and still leading Recify. So Recify actually puts a tire on the grass there through the S section. That could have impacted his, and it does seem to be impacting his turn, and as he is losing some time now. Yellow flags for Nick through the first sector once again. That's the second of the race already. Not a good race for him at all so far. He is gonna be hoping to find some rhythm now and get back in the race. Just where he's going to want to get past the NLR driver here. Indigo, meanwhile, actually getting past Lattes, using the tire advantage in his favor, sending it up the inside into the hairpin. They're still side by side now. Down into Spoon Curve. Can Indigo pull it up the inside? No, he can't. Lattes defends the position, but they are coming up to a long straight now. And Tony getting past Rutherford now through Spoon. Not sure what happened to Versify. He must have made some kind of mistake, because Spoon is not usually taking opportunity. Is Versify going to try to come back at him? Meanwhile, Mikelan following quite closely behind Lewis. Mikelan with a lot more ERS than Lewis as well. But he's not able to send a move on him into the Casio triangle. Although now as they go down turn 1, he has another chance. Shall be getting past after for P9 at the midfield. Stay on both the race leaders here. Mikelan, he is pushing now. He wants to get past Lewis. He's using the slipstream. Can he pull ahead alongside the turn 1? No, he cannot. Same goes for Reservoir. He was not able to get back past Tony. Has to just hang behind for now. You also see Indigo very close behind Lattice here, wanting to continue to go through the field here. He was alongside Lattice already earlier, half a lap ago, as they went side by side after the hairpin. But in the end, Lattice defended the position. Indigo is going to want to have another go, and this time get it done, hopefully, for him. The longer he stays behind him, the less of a chance he has of overtaking, as the tire advantage will swing in favor of the hard runners. But yeah, everybody's staying rather quiet at the moment. Nobody's really going for any desperate moves. They're all happy to just stay into the slipstream here in the first stint, it seems. That's how this tends to go a lot of the time in league racing. The first stint is rather quiet, and then the second stint, where it all explodes. Lewis going very wide there on the exit of Spoon. That was almost certainly a warning, I think. Mikelan putting pressure on him, apparently. So Mikelan, can he go for a move into the Casio triangle, or is he gonna have to wait for turn 1 once again? He's not gonna try a move into here, but he's very close behind Lewis. He definitely has a chance if he wants to go for it. And now he's burning overtake. Oh, he's turned back off again. Lewis putting in the fast lap of the race. Meanwhile, a swap. Lattice getting past German here. Does seem like German was a lot slower than him on the straight, so it could have been him letting Lattice go on purpose, or it could also have been Lattice burning a lot of EAS to get past him. I'm not entirely sure. Tony seems to be running some alternative lines, trying to get out of the dirty air of Mikelan through the S section. Wants to close the gap up to him so he can try and go for a move on him, of course. We also still have Indigo, who is still stuck behind. Well, German now, it was Lattice earlier. Those two are swapped around now. So these medium runners at the moment, not really making the progress they would have hoped for, I think. So that doesn't seem to be a massive advantage in favor of the mediums at the moment. And of course, that will only worsen as the tire wear comes in. The hards get faster in comparison to mediums. Mikelan once again following really closely behind Lewis. Now onto the back straight here, down to 130R. And look how close he is. Just 1/10 separating them right now, and Mikelan has so much ERS. He could definitely go for a move if he wanted to. But he does seem to be just happy to stay behind Lewis. Tony getting really close to the braking zone there as well. He's just waiting behind these guys, expecting some kind of mistake maybe from the two up ahead. Mikelan now with the DRS has a very good chance of getting past Lewis. And indeed he gets alongside in turn 1, and Lewis has no defense at all. Mikelan takes the race lead. No other overtakes in this DRS window, of course, as the DRS is equaled out with the car ahead also having DRS, so it makes it very difficult to overtake if you are further back in the train than P2. So Lewis now needs to just stick with Mikelan and hope to have another go to re-overtake him later on in the race with DRS, of course. Or maybe try an undercut later on. Meanwhile, Butterfly still stuck in P4 after getting overtaken by Tony. He's gonna have to make sure that once Tony's mediums drop off, he doesn't get stuck behind him and lose DRS to Lewis and Mikelan. If Reservoir and Lewis can stay together in this train, that could be really important for them. If they can work together as teammates. Of course, the same also goes for I think Lattice and German. I think Lattice is part of the part of the same team as German. They have the same livery, so I'm not entirely sure, I have to admit. It's difficult to keep track of, as I said, with these multiplayer cars. But yeah, since they have the same livery, I assume they are both part of Team... was it Team Tutti? I'm so sorry. Team Tuulitunneli. There we go. I do hope I'm pronouncing this somewhat correctly. Oh, German and Lotus CPI, never mind. They had similar colors to Tony, who I know is part of Tuulitunneli, so that's why I assumed they'd be there as well, but yeah, that's why I apologized for beforehand already. That this would be a bit of a mess with me trying to remember who is part of which team without having the them in the same car as in-game teammates, if you get what I mean. I think the sound glitch now starting to kick in as well, which is, yeah, very early. Indigo making a bit of a mistake now, inviting Jano to go for a move, it didn't happen. And Jano does indeed get past him. Resify at the same time, getting past Tony here. Although Tony on the exit staying alongside. Resify trying to hang around the outside, down into Spoon Curve. Oh, Tony pushing him a little bit, and Resify has to concede the position. They are now outside 1 second to Lewis. So Resify is gonna have to try and slingshot past Tony or something like that to get back into DRS range to his teammate Lewis. Meanwhile, Ansa is very close behind Penna as well. That could be a potential battle heating up here. Tony is back within the DRS range of Lewis. He's burned a bit of ERS to make that happen. It seems like he's very low at the moment. Oh well, very low. He's on 30%. He's about the same as Lewis actually. But he has gotten back into the DRS range, which is the crucial part. Battle going on further on the field. That's Shabi and Afte. Shabi is trying to defend or get it up into P9 here. Afte pushing him off into turn 1. And Shabi drops down to P10. Shabi's not going to be happy about that one. He's going to try and come back in, but he makes a mistake. Shabi off into the grass. Rejoins the track. And now under pressure from Ansa, who's trying to go around his outside. Through the S section here now, down the Dunlop curve. And Ansa with the inside line. Can he get past him? Penna trying to get involved as well. He has a good view from behind here. Shabi now the inside into Degner. Does defend the position. But I don't think Ansa's getting up on this one just yet. They are now outside 1 second to Afte. Afte is getting past Indigo, who also seems to have made a mistake on the exit of Degner too. That does invite Shabi back into DRS range to the cars ahead now, making his defense against Ansa a lot easier. CPI Jinx now with a 3-second time penalty, the first one in this race, I think. Yeah, the first one in this race. For multiple warnings, yellow flags coming out of Degner 2, not sure what happened there. Sound glitch, well, getting increasingly worse already, that's very annoying. It's gonna get only worse over time. I'm not sure why this sound glitch keeps coming back every F1 game, it seems like. Toika's lost it, coming out of the Spoon Curve. Dropping down to P15. Lewis stopped outside DRS range. Oh, Tony! Tony is spun into the pit lane. Tony's out! Tony is spun into the pit lane and he crashed. I'm not sure. I think it seemed like he made contact with Lewis. Not sure if that was a factor. Where actually is Tony's car? I can't see it. Is this in the... Has it despawned? Yeah, it seems to have despawned immediately. But Tony now out of the race. We are down to just 16 drivers already. Toika Jinx in the pit lane now. The entire top 6 are now on mediums after that's happened. Mikelan in control of the race in the front. Following him are Lewis and Resify. Then Latus, Gunman, Jano and Afte Indigo on the mediums in 7 and 8. Shabi in P9, Ansa in P10. That's Ansa. Or Shabi actually it was, I think. Goes very wide there. Mark now into gravel at Dunlop Curve. Rejoins the track. Just ahead of Nick here, who actually flies right through him even. Mark getting onto the grass once again. Oh, Vance with a slide through the air, and there are a lot of people are seemingly struggling on their tires now. A lot of sliding and a lot of spinning going on. So it would make sense to assume that the tires are starting to go off a bit and people are struggling. Ansa's burning ERS, wants to get past Shabi here. Shabi very low on ERS, so Ansa does have a good chance to go around the outside into 130. Yeah, brave move, but it seems like he's pulling off. Shabi has to concede the position. And Ansa takes P9. Oh, Shabi looking to rears into the chicane. He's caught the car just about. But it was certainly not good for his tire to have to go now on the exit. They're side by side down the main straight. But Shabi is so low on ERS, can he hang it past him? Resify getting past Lewis for P2 meanwhile. No, Shabi cannot get back past Ansa. And Ansa takes P9 away from him. Meanwhile, Jano is dropping outside 1 second to go, and he's gonna have to push this lap to stay inside 1 second. It's very crucial that he does, because DRS is so insanely powerful in this game. He will lose a lot of time if he does not stay with him. I think we are also, I mean, the first medium runners have already pitted, so I wouldn't be surprised if we'll be seeing Afte, Indigo, Ansa, Penna, and Mark pitting soon as well. And now we have yellow flags for Nick in the first sector, who now also, trying to recover the car, drives into the wall and gets wing damage. Wing damage? Wing damage, Jesus. That is certainly not what he's hoping for. His front right end plate is now missing, so he's gonna have to make a pit stop and get that changed. Will likely drop him behind Jinx and Toika. Mark now with a 3-second time penalty of track limits. Yellow flags for a car going off at Degner, and that is IRT Mark, who is now rejoined the track just ahead of Nick. Lattes following Lewis very closely here down into the Casio triangle, and he's going to send one up the inside, is he? Yes, he is. They're side by side now into the final corner, and they're going to battle all the way down the main straight, it looks like. Bit of pushing going on, bit of contact made. Lewis hanging around the outside. Lattes trying to move up in P3 here. Lewis getting slipstream from his teammate Reservoir up ahead. That will be a slight advantage in his favor. But Lattes is staying right there. They're side by side down the turn one. Lewis on the outside line gets squeezed off. And Lewis loses the car, just about to catch him, but he does drop behind German. Rejoins ahead of Jano. Lattes now up into P3. And Lewis has dropped down from P2 to P5 in just a few laps here. Not what he would have been hoping for to happen towards the end of his stint. Not sure if Lewis is struggling more with tire wear than those guys are. Or if he is just out of flow now. Lattes now with a full spin on the exit of Degner 2 and causing a bit of chaos here. Lewis back up to P3, Afte up on the P4. What is going on here? Afte and Lewis side by side. German Indigo. 3 wide now, or 4 wide even. Through the hairpin. Lot of chaos going on here. Jesus, I can't even tell who is where right now. German getting past Indigo for P4, I think it is. After getting past Jano for P6 as well now. The order's just been completely changed. Massive gap after Reservoir, so yeah, that spin by Lattes has just caused complete chaos here. And now another spin. And who's that? That's Shabby. Oh no, it's Penna, sorry. On the exit of Spoon Curve. He's still in P10 at the moment. And this battle is not over yet. Gernman going for a move on Lewis into the final corner. Lewis slowing down early, trying to get a DRS from him, I think. Yellow flags in Sector 2 once again now. What a chaotic battle this is now. After was alongside Jano for just a moment there. It seems like Lewis is now secured P3 at least for now. Indigo though, trying to get past Jano here. Oh sorry, Gernman actually is. Jesus, I can't even tell who is driving which car. It's crazy. These multiplayer cars are making it really difficult for me. I'm very sorry that I keep mixing up drivers. I swear I'm doing my best. It's just, yeah, it's difficult to recognize the driver if I don't know what their car looks like. Yeah. But now the order seems to settle a bit. They've calmed down just a bit, and Lewis settled into P3, Indigo into P4, Gernman P5, after P6, Jano P7, and Ansa P8, followed by Shabi in P9. This now is the, yeah, the train has been, small, yeah, the train is a bit smaller than it was earlier now. Reservoir is caught, or gotten away from them. Lattes has dropped out, of course, and, of course, a few other spins as well. So the train now goes from P3 to P9. That's the only train in this race left, I think. Well, Jinx and Mark are close to each other, so those two I want to look out for as well. But apart from these guys from P3 to P9, there isn't very much going on track right now. So we'll focus the cameras on those guys. We could be coming up to a pit stop for Indigo and Afto and Ansa as well, of course. I think it is about time to switch onto hard compound tires. As we see Gernman going very wide there. And Gernman's making pits already, so he's actually on the hard compound tire. So he's gonna go to mediums and try and make them last for 15 laps here. So a very interesting strategy from Gernman. And indeed, he is going on to mediums. Indigo putting a good amount of pressure onto Lewis there. Down to turn 1, but he is not able to get past. And has to stay in P4 for now. Gernman coming out the pits. It seems like in P11. He is far enough ahead of Lattes that I can safely say that. Yeah, he is. So he's now trying to try to undercut. Oh, yellow flags! Lewis has lost it! Lewis is going backwards out the S section. And that's his race going from bad to worse here. I mean, it wasn't even that bad earlier, just lost a few places momentarily. And now after... Oh, Indigo's out! Indigo's lost it on the exit! And now it's another safety car! The second safety car in this race, and this is horrible news if your Gardman or Lattice or anybody else has already made a pit stop. Indigo, in the wall there on the exit of Deckner 2, is now despawned. But that's the second safety car in this race already, and now every single driver here at the front is in the pit. And this also means we might see some double stacks. We don't know who is sharing a pit garage with whom, so some people might lose out heavily here, since they also don't know who their in-game teammate is that they're sharing a pit crew. So hopefully that doesn't cause too many lost positions here. But of course, every single one of these guys is going to be in for fresh tires now. Mikelan, followed by Zazifry. I don't think anybody's going to stay out now, doesn't really make sense. We're close to the pit window anyway. Gonna certainly go to the end from here. So yeah, Mikelan onto mediums, Zazifry probably onto mediums as well. After with a very slow pit entry, seems to have locked the rears into the pit box. Oh, Jana with a bit of a slow entry there. I think he did have a bit of a double stack. And he's gonna rejoin behind Ansa. After onto soft compound tires, interesting strategy. I don't think those can go for the end. 12 laps, it'll be a very long soft stint. Risky choice by Afte. Where's German gonna end up? He will be back in the train he was in earlier, I think. He's in P7. Ren's coming on P8. Lewis coming out on P9 seems. So yeah, the new order of this race. Mikelan followed by Resify. Then Afte on the softs, which will be a big factor in this race now, I would say. He could have a go at Resify and Mikelan early on. But then either drop off later on with the tires getting worn out. Or, of course, might also have to make another pit stop in this race. Either one could be very detrimental to his chances later on, sorry. So yeah, Penna as well in the softs actually, I hadn't noticed that, so yeah. Ansel then following in P4 in the hard compound, so he's gonna be in trouble from all of those mediums, which will be going to the end easily and have a pace advantage over him. So yeah, Shabi and Jano P6 and 5, Gurman P7, Renz P8, Lewis after his pin, now in P9. Panda in P10 has not caught up to safeguard just yet, Jinx behind him in P11, but he has actually pitted a safeguard. Same goes for Toika, who's in P12, then Latus in P13, Mark in P14 and Nick in P15. He's just going through the S section now. I think he is not lapped just about. Yeah, he was getting close to it, so this safety car was actually very good timing for Nick, who is now back in the fight and can recover from his mistakes that he made earlier on in the race. Safety car should now be staying out for one more lap in this race, and then we'll go back to green flags and racing. So yeah, down to 15 drivers in this race. Indigo, Tony, Charlie, Mick and Andreas out. Let's see if anybody else making pits now. Jinx and Toika, I think, might make sense for them to pit under safety car now. They wouldn't lose too many places, and they would have fresh tires, which would be a significant advantage, especially if Jinx on the hards actually isn't pitting, but Toika on the mediums is. That's interesting. I thought Jinx would definitely pit and Toika might, but apparently I was wrong. On to soft compound tires for Toika, and a wing change as well, so Toika has wing damage that he picked up at some point. That explains why he pitted, and well, doesn't explain why Jinx is standing against it though, but yeah. He's gonna come out in P14, I think. Could be close with Nick actually, as Nick is now coming down the main straight. And indeed, Nick will be just ahead of Toika, who came out the pit lane just behind him. With the wing change. If without the wing change, he probably would have been ahead, but of course, you don't want to be driving on with wing damage for the last 10 laps of this race. So yeah, safety car probably coming in at the end of this lap, and we'll have a 10 lap sprint to the end. Mikelan leading Resify and Afte. And a good chance that this will yeah, get spiced up by Afte on the soft compound tire. Meanwhile, I would say Ansa is going to be a bit of a roadblock on those hards. He's going to struggle to keep up with the top 3, but hold up the guys behind him on the mediums, and then of course Panda on the softs even more so. So yeah, Panda and After, I think those two are ones to look out for potential gaining places after the restart here. They're gonna hope to fly from the field as fast as possible and get towards the front today. I think the tires will last, the softs, but they are gonna start to drop off significantly towards the end. So I think what they need to do is make up as many places as possible early on, and then later on defend for their life. And just try to hang on to as many of the places they've gained as possible, and secure a good point scoring finish that way. Safety car should now be coming in. There we go. The announcement has been made. Safety car in this lap. Mikolan now sets the pace, decides how fast he wants to go, when he wants to restart the race. And Resify is following him closely here. Wants to make sure he stays close to him, maybe can have a go into turn 1. Of course also looking in his rearview mirror, seeing Afte on the softs. And he knows Afte is gonna attack. So, when is Mikolan gonna go? It seems like Mikolan is gone on the apex of the final corner. And he has caught Resify off guard quite a bit there. Resify already 7/10 back. Great restart from Mikolan. Meanwhile, Afte, we're not close to Resify, but not close enough to go for a move. Lewis going side by side with Renster at turn 1, and Lewis moves up into P8. So, starting with recovery from the spin. Has made up one place off the restart already. And meanwhile, Mikolan pulling a 1.2 second gap to Resify already. And Afte is gonna have to try and get past him quickly here, because Resify seems to be not able to keep up with Mikolan. So if Afte wants any chance of a race win here, he needs to get past Resify soon, and then chase after Mikolan before his tires die off. So, can Afte have a goal to happen? I don't think he's close enough. He's gonna have to wait for a better opportunity later on in the lap. Maybe down to the Casio triangle. Of course, Resify is not gonna just let him go, I'm sure of that. Or is he? Afte! Going for the move here, down into Spoon. And he's done it! Afte moving around the outside. Meanwhile, Penna getting past Renz. And the sound glitch is horrendous by now. This is truly disgusting to listen to. Happens every single race for me when I commentate, and yeah, I can only hope it gets fixed by Codemasters very soon. This doesn't happen when I drive, it's only when I commentate, so I'm not entirely sure why this is a thing in the spectator mode. That over time the sound gets worse and worse. So yeah, After now is gonna move close to Mikolan. Might also help Resify to actually stay with Mikolan, who's actually getting put in a position. I thought Ansa would be a roadblock, but Ansa is leaving Shabby in the dust and actually putting Resify under pressure. So that hasn't been as I thought. But meanwhile, Gernman with a spin at turn 1 and another safety car, I think. Oh no, sorry, I got confused by Nick's yellow dot in the pit lane as there were yellow flags, so I thought it was a safety car. Yeah, sorry about that one. It seemed like Lewis and Gernman made contact at turn 1, spinning Gernman around. I'm not entirely sure what actually happened to him. Indigo now leaving the session, he did this a few laps ago. All good on that front. After following Mikolan very close, he's definitely closing in on him. He's gonna have to go for the move soonish. Question is, will Mikolan actually bother to defend? I mean, with how easy it is to overtake with DRS, I think Mikolan is fine if he can just hang on to the DRS and wait until after his tires die off. He just needs to make sure he stays ahead of Resify here. So, Mikolan under pressure now from Afte. Afte is gonna make Afte is gonna go for it, and Afte up the inside into 130R. A rather easy move, Mikolan just letting him go. And Afte up into the race lead, but of course the question is, can he hang on to it? Will those soft tires be able to keep the pace all the way into the line, or will Mikolan come back at him? Of course, in terms of tire longevity, Ansa has the biggest advantage here. So maybe towards the end he could be a factor as well if he's already able to keep up with these guys, despite the fact that their tires are certainly faster in the early part of the stint than his tires are. Meanwhile, Toyka and Jinx battling for P12. Toyka moving past, making use of those softs to move closer towards the top 10. Needs to get past Marky, and then he can start chasing down Renz for P10. So yeah, the top 4 seem to have settled a bit now. After he's pulling away from Mikolan, he has to push hard to stay within DRS range and make sure he has a good chance of defending from Resify, who himself is under pressure from Ansa. So it's a very intense situation for a driver to be in. You have to look both directions almost. You have to keep one eye on the rearview mirror, one eye on the car ahead, and make sure you don't miss the chance to go for the overtake. Although now Vesify actually dropping outside the ERS range from Mikelan, and it's crucial for him that this does not happen, because once he drops outside the ERS, he will start losing a lot of time on every single DRS straight to Mikelan, who left the ERS from Afte, and he's also under big pressure from Ansa in that situation. So Vesify is gonna have to make sure he stays inside 1 second. Of course, DRS not actually activated yet. Next lap I think it will be. So for now it doesn't matter, but he has to stay close here. He is just about outside it. Afte now starting lap 20. Position swapping in the background, and that's Mark with a spin in the final corner. Mark down to P14. Now Lewis getting past Jarno, and Lutz is getting past Pena at the same time. So 2 moves at the same time down the main straight. Lewis moving up into P6, and now chasing after Stabi as well. Lewis continuing to make that recovery work now. Back up into P6. He was, I think, P3 after the spin, before the spin, sorry, and started in pole position. So the P6 is probably not what he was hoping for in this race. Mikelan now closing back up to Afte, so the softs might already be starting to show signs of tire wear here. And the pace is swinging back in favor of the mediums. So Afte is going to be under big pressure now for these final few laps in this race. And I'm almost certain that Mikelan does not want to be stuck behind him for long, because if he can get past Afte, while Vesify has to be behind him for another lap, that could mean that Mikelan pulls away, but yeah, can pull a gap to Vesify and secure an almost certain race win. Meanwhile, Vesify actually is getting overtaken by Ansa. Despite entire disadvantage, Ansa moves up into P3. And now Mikelan is following Afte really closely. Might also go for a move on the main straight here. Is Vesify going to come back at Ansa? Maybe. Doesn't seem like it. Mikelan now with the DRS moving to the inside. Or actually, Vesify is coming back. And Ansa up the inside into turn 1. Mikelan has taken the lead already. Vesify going back for P3 and moves back past Ansa. So yeah, that's Mikelan to the lead, Afte into P2, Vesify into P3, and Ansa into P4. Continuing to build a gap to Xavi meanwhile, who is losing time on every single DRS straight. The gap up to 1.5 seconds now. This little group of NLR cars from P5 to P7 not able to get involved in the fight for the top 4 positions. So it's Mikelan who's now controlled the race. Afte has to make sure he can hang on to P2 at least, maybe try and defend using Mikelan's DRS, and to make sure he stays ahead of Vesify. Ansa, of course, a factor in this race as well. He did overtake Vesify once already, he might have a go again. He's low on ERS though, so is Vesify. Mikelan actually has the most ERS by far out of this top 4 group. Oh, Vesify spun! And Vesify is out! Vesify has lost his front left tire, and it's another safety car! Another safety car being deployed now. Vesify just too eager on the throttle on the exit of Spoon Curve. And that's us down to 14 drivers in this race. And now with one more safety car, will we see anybody pitting for fresh softs? Indeed, Mikelan is in. Is Afte gonna be in? Afte is staying out. Ansa staying out. Xabi staying out. No, Xabi's coming. Lewis is coming in. Jarno staying out. Lato staying out. Pena staying out. Renz staying out. What about Toika? Also staying out. Gernman coming in. Jinx is gonna stay out. Team Mark, what about him? Is he gonna pit on this lap? Indeed he is. And then Nick is currently at Spoon, so we'll see a bit later whether he's pitting or not. Mikelan coming back out in P9 on the fresh tires. Lewis coming out in P11. Gernman will be in 12th and Mark in 13th. I mean, Nick might as well pit if he has fresh softs. He's not gonna lose anything by doing so. I think he should have fresh softs even if they are used from qualifying. They should only be 2 laps old rather than 3. So yeah, Nick in as well. And onto a fresher set of soft compound tires. These should be used from qualifying. It says 0 laps, so I guess they are fresh. But yeah, a lot of cars to overtake now for Mikelan. He's all the way down in P9. Of course, he does have a significant tire advantage. Fresh tires are a massive factor in this game. But in Japan, with only a few laps, can you really make that many overtakes? I'm not entirely sure. Does seem like after Yano, not Yano, after Ansa, Shami, Yano, Lattis, Penna, Renz, and Toika, I would say I've made the correct call here in staying out and going for track position. At least that's what my assessment of the situation would be. It probably would have been better had more people made a pit stop. That's of course the difficult situation if you're on P1. You have to be the first one to decide, and then the other people can go opposite to whatever you've done. And that can a lot of the time screw you over. Because if everybody apart from Afte had pitted, Afte would be in big trouble now. But, well, in this situation, most, apart from Mikelan, have not pitted, so Mikelan is now in that same trouble. And has a lot of cars between him and Afte if he wants to win this race still. Safety car staying out for one more lap at least. Nick is just coming on spoon now, so he's gonna catch up the safety car at the end of this lap, I would say. So the safety car should come in at the end of lap 22, lap 23, sorry. So we'll have lap 24, 25, 26 and 27 for racing. And that will hopefully be the final safety car in this race. It's already the third one. Safety car is set to reduced, so yeah, despite it being reduced, we've had a lot of safety cars coming out in today's race. And Afte, I mean, he is now on very old soft tires, 8 laps old. It might be a good chance for Ansa or even Shabi on those mediums, on hards, to overtake and go for the race win here. But we'll see. As we've seen in this race, I mean, absolutely anything seems to be possible to happen. We've had a lot of chaos, a lot of mistakes. So, I would say that I could still see a lot of different drivers winning this race with the amount of yeah, chaos we already had. Having some more does not seem out of the question. Nick has now caught up to the train, so the race will be restarting this lap. So we will indeed have 4 laps of racing, which means DRS will be enabled on lap 26. So there will be, well, one chance to make an overtake with DRS. All the other overtakes have to be done the old-fashioned way, without opening your rear wing flap. After is now going to set the pace soon, once we enter Sector 3. The safety car will be called in, and after he can decide when he restarts the race. And make sure he gets the jump on the cars behind and creates a good gap to make it easier to defend. I do think his tires will be significantly worse than the tires behind him now, 8 lap old softs. So he's gonna have a difficult time hanging on to this race lead here. And let's see when he decides to go. The safety car is now back in the pits, I think, so he could go now if he wanted to. He's not gone just yet, he's waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. And now he's still waiting. After he's gone. And he hasn't got the jump on Answer. And Shabi not close behind either. Yano under big pressure from Lattis for P4 here. And Lattis is gonna go for the outside line, but Yano has him covered off. The same goes for everybody else behind them. Not really any overtakes happening in turn 1. Mikelan already going for a move on Toika here. Mikelan making the best of his tire advantage. Lewis trying on Toika as well, but gets squeezed off into the grass. And now under pressure from German even. Yellow flag in Sector 1, that's Jinx and Mark who made contact. Mikelan trying to go around the outside of Renz, but can't pull it off. Now down to Dunlop curve. You can see he's really being slowed down by Renz. He's shifting down to 5th gear. He wants to get past him. Wants to use those tires to chase after the frontliners. Go for a podium in this race still. But he just can't do it. Lewis right behind him as well. He's finally gotten past Toika. And Mikelan might go for a send into the hairpin. Yes, he is! Oh! Very late in the brakes and he's lost it! Too late for Mikelan and Lewis slips through. Mikelan pushes Renz off the track. Lewis moving up into P7. Now the furthest up of the guys on fresh compound softs. After he's still in the race lead, followed by Ansa and Shami, then Jarno, Lattis, Penna and Lewis in P7 is gonna have to try and get through this train here. Of course, the assumption is if he can get past Penna and Lattis, he will be right behind Ansa because Shabi and Jarno, surely, as his teammates, will not put up a fight with his massive tire advantage. Can he get past Penna into the chicane? He's very close to him. He can have a go. Yes, Lewis can have a go. But Lewis missed his braking point as well. The same mistake Michelin made. And Lewis, I think he spun around Toyka. So wouldn't he spin around? He spun around someone. I think he made contact with someone. And Michelin is now out in P5. And well, that has not helped Lewis in this race at all. Actually allowed Michelin to recover from the same mistake that that Lewis then repeated later on. Lewis now trying to go around the outside of Penna into the S section. Contact made and Lewis has been spun around! Lewis is off into the gravel and he's out of top 10. Magna out the way as well, retiring in the pit lane. We're down to just 13 drivers now with only 3 laps to go. Gernman getting past Penna. Round the outside in deck number 1. Very ambitious move, but he pulls it off. And is now right behind Toyka. Nick out the race as well now. He's crashed at Dunlop curve. That's us now to 12 drivers. After still controls this race, keeping Ansei at bay, and he is also keeping Xabi at bay. But Michelin now still using those fresh soft tires to good news, and he's putting Jarno under massive pressure. And he's surely gonna have to go at the NLR man soon. Maybe down to the Casio triangle. Maybe he doesn't have to wait that long. The same goes for Gernman and Toyka. Gernman, with Toyka not having a car ahead of him, doesn't have the system advantage that Jarno has. And Gernman is gonna move past him to 130R. Michelin going for the move, but he also goes off. The same mistake Lewis made once again. It's too late in the brakes. And he goes off. Jarno slips back through. And Michelin is stuck behind him for another lap now. Michelin, just a bit too aggressive. It seems Lewis as well, both of them I would say, have been too aggressive in their moves. Trying to get back to the field, just too desperate. Trying to make up for the fact that they have so many cars in between them and the leaders. Xabi now putting big pressure on Ansa. Lewis now speeding the pit lane, getting a 5-second time penalty, retiring from the race as well. Down to just 11 drivers now, with 2 laps to go. We're just one more DNF away from everybody in this race getting points. Michelin following very closely to the S, but not able to find a way past Jarno. He might be able to have a go. Down into the hairpin. The sound is now almost completely gone. Can he have a go? He will, but he actually is not able to go alongside. Jarno has him covered off. Good driving and good defending from Jarno. And he stays in P4. Meanwhile, after the gap to Ansa is 8-10. He's doing very well to defend this P1. Oh, he doesn't even have to really defend this. His pace seems to be strong enough to keep Ansa at bay. Despite the fact his tire should really be short. Jarno now with a time penalty and Gernman as well at the same time. Both of them getting 3 seconds. And now Michelin doesn't actually have to overtake Jarno for P4, but if he wants to go for a pole, he needs to overtake him anyway, so he can overtake Xabi as well. And he's going to pull alongside into 130R, and surely this time around Michelin will get it done as they're side by side into the Casio triangle. Oh, contact made! Jarno and Michelin! Michelin's been spun around! He's not ghosting, now he's finally ghosting! Gernman slips through into P4, Jarno P5, Toyka P6, and Michelin all the way down to P10. And now there's another spin again. No, he's caught it, just about. Total chaos now in these final flips race. Ansa's gotten past Afte! How's that happened then? Ansa on the inside, into turn 1. Moves past Afte for the race win. Xabi has a little look up the inside through the S section, but it would have been suicidal if he'd gone for that move. So Ansa now into the race lead, followed by Afte, and then Xabi. Yellow flags all over the track, but that seems to be a glitch. Penna with a spin at turn 1. And Afte goes off! And lets Xabi past him. What is going on with Afte? Afte's tires seem to have completely dropped off as he can't defend these guys at all anymore. Oh, he just made a small mistake on the exit of the S section, allowing Xabi to slip through. Xabi now is right behind Ansa, and he's surely going to put a lot of pressure on him in this final sector and have one more go for the race win here. He has a bit of an ERS advantage, but Afte has the most ERS out of all 3 of these guys. And he's going to have 2 cars slipstream from. Who's going to win this race here? I could see any of these 3 having the race win now. Ansa leading on track, Xabi right behind him with the slipstream. Can he have a go? Can Afte have a go at Xabi? Let's see. 1 more sector to go. 1 more big braking zone to go. And Xabi up the inside to 130. There's 3 right now. Down to the final corner. What a finish to this race now. Xabi moves ahead, but Xabi drifting all the way through the final chicane. And they're off. Xabi and Afte are off. Ansa is going to take the race win here in Suzuka. What a finish to this race. And Ansa takes on the race win. And off Gernman and Jarno, who will both have penalties. So it'll be Xabi getting promoted into P2. And then Gurman P3, Toika P4, Latus P5, Jano P6, After P7, Renz P8, Miklan P9, P9 P10, and then CPI Jinx, the only driver to finish without points, in P11. And what a finished race. Look at those gaps from P7 to P5. They are all within like 2 centimeters. Absolutely crazy finish. And a really, really enjoyable race. That was amazing racing towards the end there. To watch at least. Probably not the most cleaner racing, I would say. And Ansa gets driver of the day as well there. I am gonna have to work out the points now to actually figure out which team won the event here. I'm sure we all want to know, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna get out my calculator. I'm gonna get out my drivers list to make sure I've got each driver listed on the correct team, and then we'll figure out which team has scored the most points in this race. So yeah, there we have the race results. It's Ansa and P1. So that's 25 points. Oh, jeez, the sound is still glitched. It sounds horrendous. I'm not sure if you can actually hear it on stream. It's very quiet, but it's not nice to listen to at all. Okay, so team Tuulitunneli, Toika, Tony, Ansa, Penna, Afte. Right. We'll go from top to bottom. Toika finished in P4. That's 12 points. Tony finished. Didn't finish, right? Yes, 17th. Ansa won the race, of course. That's 25 points. Penna finished in P10. That's 1 point. And Afte finished in P7 with the fast lap. That's 7 points. So, team Tuulitunneli are on 45 points. I'll write this down. And unfortunately, I have now lost the or can't see the race results anymore. I'll open the stream on my my phone and get the results calculated in the meantime. Alright, there we go. Open my own stream. Go back to the race results on stream. There we go. So, second team to race today, IRT. They had, right. Oh, of course, these lineups aren't, they've changed a bit as well, that's gonna be annoying. I think IRT only had Renz finish in the top 10 if I'm seeing this correctly. And he finished in 8th, so yeah, IRT have 4 points. So, next one, NLR. NLR had Shabby in 2nd, that's 18. Jano in 6th, that's 8. And that seems to be it. Yes, so NLR are on 26 points. And then the final team to check is CPI, who finished in P3 with Gernman, that's 15. Lattis in 5th, that's 10, so that's 25. And then Miklan in 9th, which is 27 points. Does that add up? I hope I've got everything correctly here. Right, so total team points 45 for Tuulitunneli, 27 for CPI, 26 for NLR, and 4 for IRT. That's 102 points. Let me check the points. So 26 plus 18 plus 15 plus 12 plus 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. That's 102. So yeah, this does add up. I've counted all the points, so I can confirm. Team Tuulitunneli, indeed, have won today's event with 45 points, followed by CPI in second with 27, NLR in third with 26, and IRT on 4 points. So, congratulations to Team Tuulitunneli on winning today's event, both in terms of the race winner and the overall points scored. Great result for them, especially considering they are not actually even an esports team, while the rest of the teams competing today are, so that's quite something. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. It was a very, very enjoyable race. Yeah, I hope to see you again for whatever event ends up on this channel next time. And yeah, goodbye.